Deadly Premonition 2 has just been announced July 10th. I cannot wait! Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Codename Big Bear, or Stuart if you want to call me by my first name. Now before we get onto the main subject of what I actually want to talk about today, which is Star Wars, because May 4th and all that, I actually just want to quickly throw in a Streets of Rage 4 thing. Basically, I've not played the game. I really want to play the game. I've seen many reviews of the game. And one thing that has commonly gone throughout these reviews is that this character never gets a mention. Clearly, he's inspired by AEW's Orange Cassidy, right? Clearly. No? Before we start, guys, I've got some maintenance to do, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment in the box below. It obviously really helps us out as much as we can. We have hundreds of videos here on our YouTube channel and tons of articles and other news on our website as well. All the links are down below. Give us a hand, guys, yeah? Tomorrow, as in tomorrow for you if you're watching this day of release, is May 4th. Star Wars Day. So what do you do on Star Wars Day? Well, you watch Star Wars. Now, there's a lot of movies, a lot of series, lots of media to do with Star Wars out there that you may want to try and consume on this very particular day of every single year. But today we're going to be focusing on the main Luke Skywalker, or the Skywalker saga, sorry. We're going to be omitting the Rogue One, the Solo movies, even the Ewok movies, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor, even though they are still canon. We're not looking at those today, and that also goes for the Christmas special, which I don't think I ever want to talk about. But we are going to be talking about the main 9 films. 9. -1. First things first. You see orders numbers 1 through 9, you're going to be tempted just to watch it 1 through 9. This is actually, personally, I think the wrong way to do it. I think there's a much better way to do it. It involves skipping back and forth through trilogies. So, the first place to start is Star Wars. 1977 Star Wars, or Star Wars A New Hope as it is now known. Has been done like that for a very long time, but that's neither here nor there. You obviously watch Star Wars because it establishes who Luke Skywalker is. It kind of builds upon where he came from and how and why his character is so special throughout this entire series. You meet Obi-Wan Kenobi, you find out about the Force, you get kind of everything kind of laid out for you. You find out that the Empire is a bad thing and Darth Vader is running it, and it needs to be stopped. So you have these rebel alliances, which is very small. Not many rebels out there. But then, you know, you go from there. But Luke Skywalker does his thing, and he really annoys the Emperor. And that's not really a good idea. But then you would obviously watch Empire Strikes Back. Personally, my favorite of the entire saga. And for a lot of people, this is a really great movie. You get the introduction of Yoda. Which for some people is annoying, because there's a lot of Yoda out there, especially with the Mandalorian and the baby Yoda, even though it's not really Yoda. We all know this, it's the child, don't hate me. And you also have, you have Force Ghosts be fully introduced as well. So you have Obi-Wan Kenobi turn up, or Ben Kenobi turn up and speak to Luke on Dagobah, and you find out more about his past as well, which is kind of cool. But the big crux of this, now spoilers for a, how old is this film? Nearly 40-year-old film. Crap, it is 40 years old this year, actually. For a 40-year-old film, Luke Skywalker, you find out that his father is the big bad Darth Vader himself. So, at this point, this is when I say we're going to go back a trilogy and go from there. Reason being, because this completely throws spanners in the works. If you've never seen Star Wars before, you've never even heard of Star Wars before, you're watching this, you enjoy the first film, and you join the second film, and all of a sudden it's a big revelation that is Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. That's going to blow your mind. Imagine being born being born before the 80s and be able to go see this in a cinema. It would have absolutely blown your mind. So this revelation, for me, needs some backtracking. So, whoa, how the hell did this all happen? Because in Return of the Jedi, we don't really get much of an explanation. But what we're going to do now is we gotta go back to the prequel trilogies. I say back, we're gonna go forward, really, because that's when they were made. But I'm rambling. You all know this. I'm not an idiot. But we go back to. See, I would be tempted to say just not watch Episode 1 because you don't really need it. Not much is really there that you need. It's all kind of fan servicey. You have the whole Jar Jar Binks thing. But I'd say just watch it because you have the pod racing scene, which is fantastic. You have Darth Maul. You have the whole fight between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is absolutely brilliant. And obviously, Duel of Fate's piece of music as well. It's just amazing. But you go back to Episode 1 or Episode 2, depending on how you feel about the first film. And the reason being, you go to Episode 1, well, you find out where Anakin came from. You find out who Anakin Skywalker is. Now, you go back and watch it this way, because you need to understand that he wasn't old enough to be a Jedi, which kind of seems a bit silly. It always seems a bit out of place, but he was too old to become a Jedi, too old to train as a Jedi, even though Luke was definitely in his late teens or early 20s, so one of those. But then you go to Episode 2. Episode 2 is when we get the whiny Anakin Skywalker, the one who hates sand and just wants to bang Padme all over the shop, and floating pears and messing about with things that way. And it's kind of more of a love story. There's lots of great action in this film, but the film is not the best. It's not the greatest. But the reason you go back and watch this point here as well is obviously, again, you start to see the turn of this bright-eyed young child who loves Jedis and wants to be a Jedi, turning into not a very nice person, let's put it that way. But then obviously you've got to follow that one up with Revenge of the Sith, which is, well, it's the third film, isn't it? You know, third film in that trilogy. But this is where we actually see the full transformation of Darth Vader actually happen, which will bring us up to speed when it comes back to Empire. But in Episode 3, you have some amazing sequences. You have the whole fire lather fight with the sabers and stuff. I can't remember the names of things. I really should be better at this, but I'm not. But you have the whole lava fight, which was absolutely incredible. And I distinctly remember when this film came out, I said if they didn't get that battle between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin right, I was personally going to go and find George Lucas and slap him in the face on Skywalker Ranch. I came out of the cinema that day and I was very happy. So I never slapped George Lucas in the face, and to be honest, I never would. Fine, the guy's doing his thing, whatever. I just think he shouldn't have directed those films at all. Anyway, so you've now watched Star Wars, you've watched Empire Strikes Back, you've watched Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. So where to go from there? Obviously, we've got to jump back forward in time within the Skywalker saga to Return of the Jedi. Now, from this point onwards, you can just watch them as the numbers go. But the whole bit at the beginning, the reason why I was saying that has to be like that, is because of just the story structure. Plus, it's kind of how these films came out originally. You got to find out about Anakin's kids to care about Anakin. But you got to find out about Anakin to care about Anakin's kids, and so on and so forth. Plus, I think the pacing, if you've never seen or heard of it at all, if you've got young kids and you introduce them to Star Wars, I think it's the best way to do it. Because this way, you actually get that shock and awe and surprise of, whoa, Darth Vader is his dad. Whereas if you watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, you already know who Darth Vader is by this point, and you already find out, because annoyingly, I don't know why he did this, but George Lucas names their children in the film. You just go, Luke, Leia. Oh, cool. Sorry, so Luke and Leia, they're brother and sister. That's spoiled Return of the Jedi. Oh, great, brilliant. That's now I know about the Empire Strikes Back thing. It's not really that big a revelation. So it just kind of ruins things that way as well. To somebody who hasn't got it, so if you've got kids, especially during what's going on right now, that's a really cool way of doing it. Personally, I think so anyway. Now, obviously, you can throw in Rogue One before you watch Star Wars, before you watch New Hope, because Why not? It could just chain along nice and easily. You also get a really amazing scene with Darth Vader, which after you watch that and you watch the rest of them, you're like, well, why doesn't he do all those things? So it kind of confuses things a bit, so I personally wouldn't do that. And obviously you have Solo as well, which actually isn't as bad as everyone said. But again, my order for the Skywalker saga is Star Wars A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, Return of the Jedi, final trilogy. My thoughts on Rise of the Skywalker, by the way, it was quite disappointing, to be honest. It's the end of the saga, and that's how they ended it. Why did Palpatine need to come back? What was the point in that? Why couldn't we just have Kylo Ren be the big old baddie? That would have been cooler. Why couldn't we have Rey? So anyway guys, that was my take on May 4th and what you should do when watching a Skywalker saga. I know it's a bit of a shorter video, I know it's a bit more of me rambling on as much as I could, and I mentioned a couple of things at the beginning that had nothing to do with this at all, but that's just kind of how things are going right now. Then obviously it's a very important day for Star Wars fans, is May 4th, and if you're going to do a marathon, do it this way if you've never watched Star Wars before. I really do, I do think that. There are obviously spoilers in this video, and I'm sorry for that if you haven't seen it, but come on, these films are 40 years old, like, do you really need a spoiler warning now? But guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all those things I said at the beginning as well, and, you know, be nice to each other, yeah?